What if I told you that the most dangerous object on a space station isn't a loose bolt or a leaking valve? It's a crumb. Right now, as you watch this, astronauts aboard China's Heavenly Palace are doing something that NASA has considered forbidden for 50 years. They aren't just eating. They are cooking. And the technology that allows them to barbecue in orbit might be the only reason we survived the trip to Mars. For decades, the first rule of space food was simple: if it crumbles, it kills. On Earth, a stray crumb falls to the floor. In 0G, it becomes a microscopic missile. It floats into air filters, jams sensitive electronics, and can even be inhaled into an astronaut's lungs, causing choking or infection. This is why bread has been banned in space since 1965. But here is the impossible reality. In late 2025, the crew of Shenzhou 21 didn't just reheat a pouch. They used a high-tech space oven to roast marinated chicken wings and black pepper steaks from raw to cooked in 28 minutes. How? How do you roast meat in a sealed tin can 400 kilometers up without suffocating the crew with smoke or destroying the station with grease? The answer lies in a piece of technology so advanced, it took 10 years to build, just to heat up lunch. To understand why this barbecue is so revolutionary, we have to look at the normal way astronauts eat. On the International Space Station, there is no cooking. There is only rehydrating and warming. Most ISS meals are freeze-dried. You inject hot water, wait 20 minutes, and eat a lukewarm mush through a straw or a spoon. The ISS does have a food warmer, but it's essentially a glorified hot plate case. It uses conduction, heating the pouch directly. It's slow, uneven, and let's be honest, it's sad. Here is the physics problem: in space, convection doesn't work. On Earth, hot air rises in your oven, cooking your pizza evenly. In zero gravity, hot air just sits there. If you turned on a normal oven in space, the air around the heating element would get superheated, while your food 2 inches away would stay frozen. This is where Tiangong changes the game. China realized that if they want to keep crews in space for 6 months, mush wasn't going to cut it. They needed a way to force heat to move without gravity. They didn't just build an oven. They reinvented the microwave. But using a microwave in space is terrifying. A standard microwave leaks electromagnetic radiation. On Earth, that's fine. In a space station wrapped in sensitive navigation computers, it's a death wish. If you turn on a kitchen microwave on a spaceship, you might accidentally fry the guidance system. I'm about to reveal the secret engineering behind the 7-minute space meal and the 0G tea ceremony that defies surface tension. But if you want to feast on the secrets of the universe every week, hit that subscribe button. We decode the future of space tech, and you don't want to miss our upcoming deep dive on farming on the moon. The journey to the forbidden roast started humbly. In 2003, China's first astronaut, Yang Liwei, ate bite-sized mooncakes that were specially coated to prevent crumbs. It was safe, but it wasn't a meal. By the time the Tiangong station was fully assembled in 2022, the menu had exploded to over 120 items. Kung Pao chicken, shredded pork with garlic sauce, song sa fish soup. But something was still missing. The texture. In microgravity, your sense of taste changes. Fluids shift to your head, stuffing up your nose. You lose your sense of smell, which is 80% of taste. Astronauts crave spice, crunch, and heat just to feel something. But crunch means crumbs, and heat takes power. Enter the Gallons aerospace microwave. This wasn't a modification. It was a 10-year research project. They had to build a magnetron, the heart of the microwave, that could survive the violent vibrations of a rocket launch and then operate for 10 years without a single spark. They created a variable frequency system that consumes only 600 watts of power, less than a handheld hairdryer. But the real magic is the energy efficiency. On the ISS, heating a meal takes 30 minutes. The Tiangong microwave can heat a hot, steaming dinner for 3 people in just 7 minutes. But heating pre-cooked food is one thing. Cooking is another. Here is the reveal. The hot air oven used in the November 2025 barbecue event uses a proprietary, forced convection system. Since heat doesn't rise, the oven uses high-speed fans to physically force hot air to circulate around the food 360 degrees. It creates an artificial convection current. This ensures the chicken cooks evenly from all sides, creating the Maillard reaction, that browning and crisping that gives roast meat its flavor. But wait, what about the grease? If you roast a chicken on Earth, grease splatters. In space, those hot grease droplets would float out into the cabin and coat the walls, the instruments, and the astronauts' eyes. The Tiangong oven has a multi-layer, waste collection system. It works like a high-tech air purifier. As the air cycles, it passes through a catalytic filter that breaks down oil particles and smoke molecules instantly. The air that comes out of the oven is cleaner than the air that went in. It is a zero-emission barbecue. This is why scientists are baffled, not by the physics, but by the speed of the innovation. In less than 5 years, Tiangong went from paste in a tube to crispy chicken wings. But food is only half the story. The other forbidden item in space is open liquid. You can't drink from a cup in 0G. The liquid would just blob out and float away, or drown you. Or so we thought. This is the 0G tea ceremony. The 0G cup looks simple, but it's a masterpiece of fluid dynamics. It uses sharp angles and a specific geometry to exploit capillary action. In space, surface tension dominates gravity. The cup's shape forces the liquid to wick its way along the side of the cup, right up to the astronaut's lip. They can sip tea exactly like they do on Earth. Why does this matter? Because it's not about hydration. It's about civilization. Drinking tea from a cup, eating hot barbecue with chopsticks, these are small acts of normalcy. And psychologists now believe that these forbidden foods are actually the most effective antidepressants in orbit. So, I have a question for you. Space agencies are split on the future of food. Campe says, food is fuel. Make it a pill, make it efficient, save weight. Camp B says, food is joy. Bring the barbecue, bring the pizza, whatever the cost. If you were on a 3-year trip to Mars, which camp are you in? Would you trade a year of your life for a weekly pizza night? I genuinely want to know. Drop your vote in the comments. This tech isn't stopping at barbecue. The ultimate goal is the Bioregenerative Life Support System, BLSS. Right now, Tiangong is growing lettuce, wheat, and cherry tomatoes. These aren't just experiments, they are the salad bar of the future. The oven and the garden are 2 halves of the same circle. The garden turns astronaut waste, CO2 and water, into food. The oven turns that food into a meal. China is attempting to close the loop entirely. If they succeed, they won't need resupply ships. Tiangong will become a self-sustaining world. The forbidden foods of Tiangong are a message. They tell us that the future of space travel isn't about surviving in a tin can. It's about living. We are no longer just camping in orbit. We are moving in. With every crispy chicken wing and every sip of tea, we are proving that humans can take their humanity with them, even into the void. But while Tiangong feasts, a massive problem is spiraling out of control just a few kilometers away. A piece of space junk the size of a bus is wobbling in a chaotic orbit, and it might be targeting the very satellites that keep us connected. That's our next investigation. Thanks for watching. Stay hungry, keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next one.